We're coming up here at 36 past the hour. This is the Eric Johnson Space Administration EJ Space and Rocket Review. Once again, 36 past the hour. Isn't that right, Mr. Scream? That's great, great. Welcome to the Space and Rocket Review, everybody. How you doing? Coming up on the top of the hour. Isn't that right, Mr. Scream? Are you Handsome Dan? Oh, yeah, I'm Handsome Dan. No? No? All right, cool. Great, great. It's okay, I didn't need ears. Oh, that wasn't that loud. Be quiet. That wasn't loud at all. It's easy. You want to do a radio voice? All you got to do is try to sound like Zap Brannigan, master of the universe and everything in between. Also, this year's winner of the Modesty Award. What? 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 Okay. Okay. That threw you off? What? All right, so Space and Rocket Review. Are you ready? We are going to start with the Rocket Lab news. Did you guys hear about the Rocket Lab news? All right, let's do this. Let's go.
Rocket Lab has mastered the art of building launch sites.
Okay, Rocket Lab has mastered the art of building launch sites. Now we're making them deployable with Ghost, turning our Electron and Haste rockets into a launch anywhere, launch anytime capability with me off the screen.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
We're strengthening America's missile defense capability. Okay, yep. Eventually, you need to be producing hardware testing in the field. If you cannot test your missile defense system at a high cadence, frankly, you're just not going to keep up pace with the threat because you're not evolving your own capability as quickly as you could. Missile defense testing is more geographically relevant, and so there need to be missile defense tests in the Atlantic, there needs to be in the Pacific, there needs to be in partner nations, and that's why we're developing the capability to perform those tests in those areas. It's why we're developing the capability to perform those tests in those areas is so important. Music. Pack it, ship it, launch it. Ghost can deploy rockets, infrastructure, ground support equipment, and range control systems from standard shipping containers to anywhere in the world. Speed on station, speed to orbit, speed to test. Speed has been the name of the game in recent national security applications. And so our ability to deploy this quickly, get into a launch campaign, pick it up, and move it, not only doesn't make it very affordable because you're not spending a lot of time and waiting around, but it is exactly, music, what the government has been looking for in terms of moving at the pace of the threat, accomplishing a lot of tests in a given music year, and not having to spend a whole bunch of money to do so. Kodiak, Alaska was the right solution for the music. Deployment of our mobile launch architecture, really in support of our missile defense customers who need Pacific access, music. But it's important to remember that Haste and Electron use the same infrastructure, so it's not only a suborbital music capability, but now there's an orbital launch capability that we can bring anywhere in the world. More orbital options, hypersonic music, test flights, on-demand accelerated timelines. Ghost is purpose-built purely for rapid activation within days of multiple missions at once, bringing the launch music to anything that serves a mission. Rocket Lab's approach to launch infrastructure sets music for us apart because everybody else, because it's Electron. We've demonstrated a high music, reliable launch capability, and that's really is the discriminator. Our approach brings it to a level of reliability in a mobile architecture that can be moved around. Now, once music, you complete a launch campaign, you're able to pick that package up and move it somewhere else. That somewhere else can be addressed music, a missile defense application, something suborbital or orbital. And if you move a launch site music near the equator, you can move it to a partner nation. Now you can access sovereign launch capabilities and music. You can address a variety of new orbits, which open up new markets. Execution music is key. We have the credibility to execute, and now we're bringing that into a new application that is very exciting. It's a very exciting time to say that we now have the capability, we have the hardware and the infrastructure music to move this around and go address new global markets. Music. And space news is at 5:30. Yeah, well, hey, I was on time. Just saying. Music. So that's cool. All right, can I just rewatch this without this so I can see what they're didn't? Okay. Can I tell you who music wanted this? Yeah, this is Space Force, dude. Space music news is at 5:30. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. It was too funny. All right, so this is capability of being able to roll this thing into a shipping container and launch it wherever. That's a super nice shipping. That's a super nice shipping Connex, by the way. Insulated. See? She's insulated. She's got power. It's basically, dude, that Connex is basically a clean room. Yeah, look. All the extra insulation. It's acoustic insulation. Probably, well, I'm not going to say vibration, but because we don't know that for sure, music. Global Hypersonic Orbital Spaceport Technology. Ghost. Cool. So the pads have to be built at locations prior to the Ghost equipment arriving, or the pads are quickly built in any location. So the pad, hold on. Let me see. I have to look at the pictures. I'll tell you in a second, FT. Yeah, see, this Connex has power. It has power. It has climate control, which, yeah, you don't want this thing getting too hot. That's a guy measuring a fairing. That's fairing integration onto the Curie. Those are guys cranking. It's my tube in a box. It's a tube in a box. Now, the way they're talking is that their launch pad fits in the Connex too. I'd be very curious as to how. I don't see any launch pad infrastructure here. I just see a tube in a box. It's my tube in a box. I guess it mean anything strong enough, the flat pad can be turned to a launch site. Yeah. This is not the first time this capability has been requested by a Department of Defense entity. DARPA tried to get this done with Astra, and Astra failed miserably. But that was generally the idea. I'm betting it's multiple shipping containers, like likely 4 or 5. Yeah, yeah, Tessa, no doubt. What I'm telling you is that they're showing one. This also has data connections in it too. Dude, that Connex is toe up, man. That's nice. So there's Astra's. That was no, maybe it's this one. Astra's pad. Zzz. So I'm seeing a bunch of modular tanks. These are mobile tanks. I'm seeing a bunch of Connexes here. It doesn't really explain how the launch table and the transporter, the erector is getting there. But, yep, that's Kodiak. I'm actually not sure if that is the slide pad. I think it's not this one. Actually, that one might be it. I don't know for sure. Chris Kemp will probably have some colorful words about this. So Launch Complex 4B, 4A. It's a tube in a box. Yeah, dude. That has been done before. Yeah. Now we're talking. Now we're talking, dude. That train car does exist. That's an RT Muladets. That's not, no, that thing sucks. No. I'm talking about the Peacekeeper Rail Garrison. Yeah! Hell yeah. That's real, dude. The car is still around. Yeah. Just an unassuming boxcar. That was the whole idea. Just unassuming boxcar with a freaking ICBM in it. That's so badass, dude. The why a TWR of 1 is not great, Rocket. Yep. Do not hump. Rail garrison assets at Vandenberg. Oh, man. They had a lot of these, huh? Yeah. Why the 2 VGA ports? I have no freaking clue what that does. Yeah. Rumor has it he ran around on one of those American missile trains. Soviet missile train? No. I mean, it's no Soviet missile train, you know what I'm saying? But also, yeah, that's a Molodets. That's, yeah, same idea. Hmm. 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 Look at how the hydraulic is mounted. Yeah, okay. Okay, we'll just get away from that mental illness. All right, that's fine. Yep. So let me go back over the video. The hydraulic was mounted backwards. Why would you do that? I know about the SpaceX video. So see, yeah, Lev, I know about it. I'm wondering what the heck they're going to do with this. Like, what is this? How are you going to move that? You're going to move the launch table too? Does that move in a shipping container? Did I hit the wrong button? Like, that's fine and dandy being able to move the rocket in a shipping container. That's super cool. You put a launch table on a flatbed. I mean, that leads to a bigger idea that I had. Why don't we just take a bunch of HEMTs and just make those into mobile launch pads? You just drive it up there. Just saying. I don't know. That's the idea that I talked about when we were playing Kerbal a little bit earlier. Anyway, what I digest. All right. So Rocket Lab is going to work on deployable launch sites with Electron for putting your launch pad there and there and there. Cool. That's awesome. All right. Next bit of news. What do we got? Firefly. What's hotter than a Texas summer? Our Miranda engine. We fired a Miranda engine at full power for 226 seconds. That's almost 4 minutes. This endurance test verifies that the engine can perform beyond nominal flight duration, meaning this engine is one step closer to being ready for flight. 7 of these Miranda engines will generate the thrust needed to lift our Eclipse rocket off the launch pad and propel it into orbit. Hang on. Let me just move the joystick out of the way. Too many bottles. All right. Let's take a look. Let's see what we got. That's really good. That's really good. Yeah, nice. Yeah, really, really nice, actually. Yeah, they this motor's really only supposed to burn for 120 seconds, no, 150 seconds. They went to 226. That's pretty impressive. Cool. Good stuff. Yeah. Miranda's going on Firefly's bigger vehicle, the Eclipse rocket, and also it should be Intari's first stage to replace the 230 plus version. Did your last make sense? Yes. Yeah, piecing together everything you need for a launch in my head, I think it'd need at least 7 containers, one for the first stage, one for the second stage. The rockets goes together in one piece into a container. Payload and all the cables and hoses. Payload's probably already integrated, hence the climate control systems on the container, Tessa. 2 for those 4 tanks. Yep. One for pieces to assemble the erector, 1 for pieces of the pad itself, and 2 more for ancillary equipment. Something like that, dude. Yeah. You've been seeing people at LC20 for like the last 2 weeks. Something is going on. Really? Launch Complex 20, guys, is Firefly's pad down there. Firefly has this pad right here. That one. This is Launch Complex 20. It was a Titan 2 launch pad. Was a Titan 2 launch pad. Back in the day. It's done nothing, pretty much nothing since. I do believe LC-20 was used to launch to do missile testing. If math serves me left. I forget if Harry's pictures from yesterday show anything good. I'll check. Yeah, LGM 25C, the Titan 2. The inaugural launch of the Titan 3A occurred from that pad. Neat. A Super Loki? Loki, officially designated 76mm HEAA rocket T220, was an American unguided anti-aircraft rocket based on the German Typhoon. Typhoon? Like the Typhoon, Loki never saw service as an original role, but later found widespread use as a sounding rocket. It was so successful in this role that several advanced versions were developed on the basic Loki layout, including the Super Loki. Dojo, that eclipse will take place tomorrow in Italy, in my area. It will be 93% totality. If the photos turn out, we'll share them. All right, cool. Dude, Dojo, it will really screw with you. Getting to like partiality like that, like 90+%, it'll feel like someone turn the lights off. Not turn the lights off. It'll feel like you're looking at the whole world through like a filter. It changes all the colors and everything. It's really weird. So yeah, it's very strange. Now, let's see. So did a couple of launches in the early 60s, a couple of Titans in the mid 60s, and then launched a couple of rockets in the 90s. '28 suborbital test, liquid oxygen valve accidentally closed, leading to loss of thrust and premature engine shutdown. First successful launch in August of '60. Man, that pad's been around for a good while, dude. LC-20 is one of the older pads. Any thoughts on the Patriot missile shortage? Yeah, build more. It's not hard. What, did we forget how to make them? Just build more. This is not... Just build more. That's it. Just build more. You should do that. When was the last Titan launch out of there? May is 65, a Titan 3A. It did 20 launches. All right. Some of them failures, though. And then these little, the Super Lokis and the Ares. Yeah. That's, last launch from 20 was in December of 2000. Where were the original V2 rockets launched from the Cape? Launch Complex 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they weren't V2s. They were bumpers. Right here. So that's Launch Complex 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the bumper rocket... Here, I'll show you. It's not... So a bumper is a little bit different. I know it looks exactly like a V2, but it's actually two-stage. The bumper rocket is not a V2. It's got a V2 as a first stage. But I don't call it a V2. I don't like calling it that because I don't like the guy that gave it that name. I call it what the guy that made it calls it, Aggregate 4, which is an A4. Yeah, I don't like that guy. You shouldn't either. So it's a bumper rocket. The bumper, it has a it's a V2 with a sounding rocket basically attached to the top as the second stage. That's what bumpers were. They were first launched from the Cape in 1948 off of Pad 1. And it uses the V2, like I said, as the first stage. There you go. That's the first launch from the Cape was in 1950. They launched it out west. But yeah, Bumper 8. Was Von Braun involved in the bumper rocket program? Most likely. Oh, no German engineers were directly involved with Project Bumper, though some worked on the initial studies regarding mating the V2 and the WAC Corporal. 2 women, Mary Taggart and B. Sylvester, were on the Bumper team providing rocket, but not launch support. Yeah, they launched it from White Sands a couple of times, and then Bumper 8 and Bumper 7, first launches from out at the Cape. And they launched it from Pad 3. So Pad 3 would be... I think it's this one. I think I had it backwards. I think it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So yeah, that's the oldest launch pad that launched something from here. I don't think Launch Complex 1, 2, 3, and 4 have been used for anything since. So LC-1 was for the Snark missile. 2 okay. They were all constructed for the Snark missile program. Oh, there it is. Look at the freaking Cape, dude. Whoa. That's a Juno rocket. That's not bumper. There's the lighthouse, and then there's the hangar. That hangar's still there. That's where the Air Force Space and Missile Museum is. So that's 4 right there. Dude, look at some of the cars. Look at these things. What is that? That's a GMCKW. That doesn't look right. That's freaking funny, dude. Yeah, that's a GMCCKW. That's a World War II 2.5 ton truck. And then it looks like they have a deuce and a half over there. The AM General one. And then there's a generator. Dude, it's seriously just a generator hooked up to the frigging rocket. A generator that's pumping fuel into the stupid thing with a bunch of people standing next to it. That's kind of badass, man. I'm not going to lie. That's kind of badass. Is that messed up? That's kind of cool. They're just fueling it right there. They got a generator. Just take the PTO on the generator, pump the fuel, whatever. It's fine. Is that people just standing next to a fully fueled rocket? Rockets are pretty safe when they're fully fueled. Don't worry, there's a meat wagon right there. See the cross? They're being safe. And then there's a fire truck right there too. You're good. And is that a chicken coop or something? Like, what's going on over there? So that picture would have been taken, like, right here. See? Oh, that's trippy, dude. That's trippy. But see, if you look down here, that hangar still there, and then the lighthouse is still there too. So, like, here, let's go like this. See? Ready? Go like this. And that's weird, man. I never actually bothered to go and look at these. That's strange, dude. Oh, that's weird. That's complex 1, 2, 3, and 4. They were built for the Snark, and then they used them to launch bumper. Next to the medical truck, is that a Type 2? No. No, I don't think so, dude. Tessa, we used to be a country that wouldn't allow German trash in here. And I don't think the bus was even invented yet. That looks like a Ford. I'm just kidding about the German thing. It's a joke. This was joke. This was, I mean, like I said, this would have been right after World War II, which it's funny because the rocket is German. His joke. I'm just kidding. Dude, they seriously were just like, all right, concrete slab, let's go. Those chicken coops may be a weather observation station. Yeah. Yeah, probably. Dude, the slab is still there, and the tracks. See the old railroad tracks? They're still there from the service structure for the thing. But that's a Juno. That's a Juno missile. At least I think it is. It's a Redstone PGM-11 Redstone RS4. LC-4 was one of the first launch complexes. It consisted of 2 pads. LC-4, which was used for 25 launches of the Beaumark, Matador, and Redstone missiles between 52 and 60. And LC-4A, which was used for 3 Beaumark launches between 58 and 59. Following its deactivation in 60, the original structures at the complex were dismantled. New facilities were built at the site in the 1980s, and it was used for the TARS aerostat operations between 83 and 89. Following this, the aerostat launch facilities were removed, and the complex is currently not accessible to the public. Yeah. In 2023, after weeks of searching, students from the University of Central Florida, UCF, working with archaeologists, discovered the site of the original blockhouse supporting the first bumper launch just north of the pad at LC3, including the slab foundation and some of the surrounding Marston mat, all long buried under heavy scrub. There have been archaeological digs at the Cape. That would have been over here. They would be this way. It's actually kind of cool. That's, see this stuff right here? That's the aerostat stuff they were talking about. Crazy we went from those rockets to a Saturn V. Not only that, well, yeah, dude, we went from bumper, right? The first bumper launch was, 1950 from the Cape, right? There it is. Also, look at how close the photographers are. It's badass, dude. Right? So, that in 1950, and 20 years later, we were on the moon. Think about that for a second. Where were we 20 years ago at this time? 20 years ago is 2006. I don't like saying that, but that's pretty nuts, man. That's a crazy amount of progress. I mean, I would say, wouldn't it be cool, if this was this stream, EJ from like 10 years ago, like 2018, 2019, EJ would have said something like, wouldn't it be cool if we did that again? That'd be kind of nice. But honestly, dudes, we're Starship is that. Starship's good. That's fine. New Glenn. Just saying, like, Falcon 1 to Starship in that amount of time. There you go, short line. That's, yeah, exactly, dude. Fresh Kerbal career save. For real. For real. Yeah, man, that's it. Atlas went from cursed to dependable in 2 years or so. Yeah. Yeah. In a couple of years, your Stang will be 20. Tessa, you want to hear something strange? I put a waterproof cover on the Mustang, and water still somehow found its way in. I don't understand that one. I put the waterproof cover on. It rained like crazy. It's not installer error. Dude, it's sealed. And somehow there's still water in the footwell, which sideways rain. Dude, it's tied down. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Humidity? I don't know, maybe. I don't know, dudes. I have to go clean it out before we go to Michigan. Again. Anyway, let's get back into space news. The next bit is coming from Firefly as well. The next evolution of Alpha. Block 2 is the next generation configuration of our Alpha rocket and the only operational US 1-ton rocket. The striking white exterior isn't just for looks. It enhances thermal protection and is one of several engineering upgrades across the vehicle. 7 feet longer, which is about 2 meters, a little over 2 meters. In-house batteries and avionics, enhanced thermal protection, stronger carbon composite structures built with automated systems. All right, let's see what we got here. A Chevy Avalanche. Dude, I must have angered Poseidon. Water finds a way. Condensation? I don't know, dudes. Did you run the shop condensate drain into the car? I might have. Music. Guy in a hat, staring at a rocket. A beautiful white rocket emerges with the Firefly's logo on the side. A bold new look for Alpha Block 2. Firefly. Yeah, thanks for letting us see it. You showed more of the damn Chevy than you did the rocket. Is this an episode of Landman? They kind of made it look like it, huh? No, no, no. Arrow.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
I know, I'm sure you've had many by now, but you've tried putting damp rid in the car? It's not a bad idea. Looks like a level 2 SPH. Yeah, they didn't really show much. And it looks like the upper stage is still black. But then again, the logo would be upside down. I'm confused. I'm confused at what they're showing us here. That should be the engine section. I don't understand. Either way, well, we'll see what happens. All right, what do we got? NASA Marshall, a giant leap to Mars. NASA recently completed testing of a lithium-fed electromagnetic thruster, reaching 5 times more power than today's electric propulsion systems. Paired with a nuclear power source, this tech could slash travel time to Mars. Eh? I don't want could. I don't want could. Put it on something and send. They're going to put it on SR1 Freedom, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Tessa. 5 times more thrust means it might make 1 Newton. Maybe. But, I'll be honest with you. A thruster that makes 1 Newton of thrust is a big deal. You don't need a 100 kilonewton thruster to do, like, for instance, a brachistochrome trajectory. You don't like 10 kilonewtons, maybe 5 kilonewtons of thrust would get you where you need to go. Really, really fast. All right, let's read. Let's read. I want to see this. Okay. Oh, all right. Not surprised that powerful lithium-fed thruster for trips to Mars. All right, let's see what we got. Stop it! You're gonna kill my stream! All right, what does this say? The team at NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory is working on nuclear electric propulsion technology. This video shows actual test footage. This technology could power exploration in deep space and propel humans to Mars. I don't want could. Propel humans to Mars, please. A lithium-fueled magnetoplasma dynamic thruster achieved power levels up to 120 kilowatts. Give me 1 second. Wow. That makes 2.7 newtons of thrust. That's, huh. 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 Ooh, 1,000 miles. So check this out. I wanted to just double check my math here. So I typed in, how much thrust would a 120 kilowatt electric thruster have? Look at this. That exact thing popped up and it made 2.7 newtons of thrust, 0.6 pounds. Holy crap, dude. That's 2,800 second specific impulse. Frick me, dude. That's actually a big deal. Wow. You had me at magnetoplasma dynamic. Yeah. Huh. Huh. Okay. All right. Listen. Let me explain it again just in case anybody didn't get it. All right. So 2.7 newtons is about that much thrust. You could probably whistle and make more thrust right now if you can whistle. The thing is, 2,800 seconds specific impulse is very, 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 very efficient. Now, what is specific impulse, just in case anybody doesn't know? Specific impulse is akin to the miles per gallon of a rocket engine. It's measured in seconds. It's basically how efficiently can you burn like a certain quantity of fuel in seconds. How long does it take to burn this much fuel in this amount of time? Okay, I believe it's. I forget what it is. I'd have to go look. That's like basic stuff that I should know off the top of my head, but just bear with me. So the higher the second specific impulse, the more efficient it is. So they're feeding lithium into this as your reaction. So wouldn't it technically be solid fuel? Solid fuel electric thrust? Solid fuel electric thruster. Yeah, 1 pound of thrust out of 1 pound of propellant, or 1 newton out of 1 kilogram per metric for kilonewtons. Anyway, the F1 was 263 gas one. The J2 is 340. Most efficient we have is the RL10 at 462. And then the shuttle engine right behind it at 452 seconds. That's about as efficient as you're going to get, the RL10. Nuclear thermal, so a Nerva engine can get up to 800. Nuclear thermal will also make more than 2.7 newtons of thrust. With nuclear thermal, you could make a meganewton of thrust, potentially, depending on how big it is. 2,800 seconds is 46 minutes, 40 seconds, 1.94 days. So, look, does this thing make a lot of thrust? No, but it's absurdly efficient. So the idea is that you don't need to carry like a big gigantic fuel tank full of liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. You can carry as much lithium as you need, and that thruster could just be on for, like, say you go to Mars. That thruster could just turn on and you just leave it on. You leave it on for days, right? And, a rocket engine will do a transfer burn from Earth to Mars, a trans-Martian injection burn. The injection burn probably take, 5 to 10 minutes, right? And then the rest of the way you coast until you get to Mars and find some way to slow down. This thing would fly on what's called a brachistochrome trajectory, meaning that you just keep accelerating, and then when you're halfway between Earth and Mars, you turn around, and then you decelerate, and you decelerate, and you decelerate, and you decelerate, and you decelerate till you get there, right? because the thing is so efficient and because it could just, it doesn't make a lot of thrust, but it could just keep that thrust going for a very long period of time. Basically, as long as you have fuel, right? And you're not limited by electricity because it's nuclear powered. You need electricity and you need fuel for a magnetoplasma dynamic drive. Yeah, you could do a Mars transfer faster than you could do with chemical propulsion because you're just accelerating and accelerating. It's the tortoise and the hare. The hare goes really, really fast, right? And then it's slow for the rest of the time. This thing is just slow, constant, steady pace. And eventually that slow, constant, steady pace could be long. It could be shorter than chemical propulsion. You get there in a couple weeks. Like I said, if we can make one of these produce like 5 kilonewtons of thrust, then it would give you like, so right now it's at 2.7 newtons. 5 kilonewtons would be 500 newtons of thrust. Or no, 5,000 newtons of thrust. No, yeah, yeah. Yes, right? If we could make it have that, 5,000 newtons of thrust. It has 2.7. If we could make it have 5,000, don't choke. Don't choke. Trying to talk too fast. I'm good. I'm not good. Wrong pipe. Don't forget to breathe, kids. If we could make it have 5,000, that's basically a drive from Star Wars. Yeah, that's like Star Wars or The Expanse or something. And that's the thing. Lithium-fed electromagnetic thrusters, so magnetoplasma dynamic thrusters, are scalable. It's scalable based off of your power generation capability. So if you can generate more power, you can feed more fuel. Set esophagus to auxiliary. Yeah, I'll make sure I will not die on stream. Cool. Or you could use clusters of these things and work that way as well. And then you could theoretically do the Kessel run in 12 parsecs, you know? Always at the worst moments. Yep. Hey, you can get banned for dying on stream. Yeah, I think that's against terms of service. Anyway, super cool. That's cool that they're doing that. All right, so next bit of news. PLD space. Godspeed, Mira 5 in second stage. The second stage is now on its way to the United States for a flight termination systems test, designed to validate the onboard safety system that would be activated in the event of an in-flight anomaly. PLD Space is a Spanish commercial launch provider that's looking to get into the light to medium duty lift launch with their Miura 5 rocket, or Miura 5. Could they collect lithium from the moon? If it's in the soil, sure. I don't know if it is. Maybe. Let's see. Slight coughing. Slight coughing esophagus. Stop it. Stop it. You can tell it's going to America because of this, the way it is. Yeah, that's right. All right, next bit. What do we got? Kepler Communications. As we scale to meet growing customer demand, we're taking another important step forward. We've selected Rocket Lab's Neutron rocket for Kepler's first dedicated launch, scheduled no earlier than 2028. Kepler, so Neutron has a customer with their flatelites. And speaking of that, Rocket has their Q2 2026 investor update. How ghostly of you. There it is. Rocket Lab Germany? That's a thing, I guess. Link to this investor update. All right, Antares, have a good night, buddy. Record demand and backlog. Multi-launch contract signed with NASA, IQPS. Defense Prime! It's Optimus Prime's cousin. $266 million for the Space Force, which is the on-demand launch site capability. There's Ghost. Flight hardware is coming together for Neutronus. Stage 1 is in final assembly. Stage 2, integration, and then shipping to Launch Complex 3. Thrust module integration, and then shipping. Balls. Engine testing heading into the final stretch. Hungry Hippo and pre-flight testing. Hungry Hippo is stateside. High demand for Neutron launch slots. Okay, when is it launching? Kepler, there's Kepler Communications. That's what we just saw. Production of the Stage 1 tank currently aligns with target delivery of Neutron to the launch pad in Q4 2026. Okay. Stage 2 completed fluids, avionics, integrations, and checkout. Stage 2 is prepared to be shipped to Launch Complex 3 for the final test campaign. Hopefully your polling isn't leaking from the heater core. Those things are a pain to change. It's the cowl vent drain, River Dave. Yeah, cowl vent drain. It's clogged. It gets clogged. I haven't done it. I should probably do that tomorrow, but I have to finish getting my mobile streaming setup ready to go. So, Neutron's probably going to launch either late this year or early next year. Yeah, a little bit of update, guys, just in case anybody hasn't heard. So, I am going to be gone the 13th through the 24th. I'm going to Michigan to hang with Breeze folks for a little while. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week, I will be here for Space News is at 5. It's just, yeah, everything else, no. So, not necessarily going on vacation so much as, actually, I don't know if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for Space News. I'll keep you updated, but I'm building a mobile streaming setup off of a laptop with nice cameras and stuff so I can stream in Michigan, right? And we can do Space Newses. The problem is that laptop doesn't play games very well, so yeah. Do you think Stoke will launch before them? I think out of Stoke, Relativity, and Rocket Lab, I think Stoke will launch first. I think Neutron will launch second, and then Terran R will launch third. But we have the update here of Terran R from Relativity here. This is their July update. Welcome back to another Terran R program update. July was an eventful month, so let's take a look at the key highlights across design, build, test, and launch. This month, the team released 1,130 flight parts and fully released the Stage 1 shipping assembly. The milestone and the culmination of more than 2 years of design work marks the full release of more than 11,000 Stage 1 structures, fluid systems, avionics, and harnesses, acceleration hardware, production, and integration. On the Stage 1 flight article, teams are installing joiners, stringers, and doublers. The forward barrel achieved a significant milestone. The first wet installs of external stringers completed. The final panel fit up, marking the last of all doubler fit ups on the vehicle. I missed a part. Landing leg operations initiated laser tracking and tooling validation for 2 panels, and the grid fin weldment review was completed. Thrust structure integration is advancing towards mate with the outer engine feed lines installed and fluid testing underway. In parallel, avionics boxes are being installed with checkouts in progress. Final work on Flight 1 engines is ongoing, and they are now being prepared for installation on the interstage. How many interstages they got there? Is Relativity or Stoke public? No, neither of them are public. Work is progressing on both the forward and aft barrels before they are mated. Teams are focusing on the final fit-up, torquing, and sealing of interstage stiffening. But the focus isn't just on Terranar's first flight. Teams completed the first circumferential friction stir weld for a Flight 2 tank and continued building Aeon R engines for Flight 2. Maintaining momentum on the next vehicle. We're also continuing to advance manufacturing capabilities. Carbon composite. Aluminum honeycomb with carbon wrap on either side. Looks like an Oreo cookie. This is what fairings and interstages are made out of nowadays. See? Looks like a Oreo. Successfully producing, laminating, and cured a carbon fiber composite panel in-house. Nice. The Stage 1 structural qualification test campaign is officially complete. Our structural test stand, affectionately known as the Tender-Loving Crusher, pushed the dedicated test article further than any previous thing, conducting life cycle and burst pressure tests. Highlights include 420 pressure cycles, 62 proofs, stability, and ultimate loading cases, and axial compression load reaching 4.3 million pounds of thrust while pressurized. The next article after this, we're going to learn a lot about axial compression load and why you should do stuff like this before you launch. You'll learn a lot about that in a second. Successful completion of this campaign validates that the Stage 1 tank is ready to withstand the demanding loads of ground operations, launch, and flight. Following the Stage 1 qualification campaign, Stage 1 downcomer for flight completed the first phase of acceptance testing. Look at this thing, huh? A little bit of a flexi joint right there. All right. Including hydrostatic and pneumatic proofing. Structural validation and bananas. And leak checks. All right. At NASA Stennis, the team readied the A2 test stand, installing all hold downs, erecting the lightning protection system tower, activating the liquefied natural gas system, and installing stage HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. After conducting vehicle checkouts, the second stage was lifted and mechanically mated onto the stand and completed cryoproof testing. Hey, all right. The portion of this test validated the stage under pressure conditions with cryogenic fluids. All right. A key addition beyond prior pressurized testing with water. That's a big deal, dudes. All right. You know, I retract my previous statement. Relativity is going to launch sooner than anticipated. Also, you heard me talking about pendants when we were making cranes in KSP the other day. Those are pendants. That's what they look like in real life. They're basically struts that allow movement on the backside of a crane. See? Those two are pendants for this crawler crane right here. Or that lattice crane. I don't know if it's a crawler for sure. Tank underwent composite overwrap pressure vessel proof testing, validating the integrity of the high-pressure systems that will pressurize propellants during flight. On the nearby R stand, the Aeon vacuum engine, or Aeon V, completed acceptance testing, wrapping up all engine testing for Flight 1. The Aeon vacuum will soon be installed on the second stage ahead of upcoming stage hot fire testing. At Cape Canaveral, the team energized the horizontal integration facility for the first time and completed the first proof load testing for a 270,000 pound crane. Gantry crane. Oh. Eee, that's nice. We like cranes. 270,000 pound. All right. That's a chunky one. See, they're using Kerbal attachment system, huh? All right. We like cranes. The transporter erector upper strongback arrived on site and was moved into the assembly room where Terranar stages will be mated. Ah, you need one in your shop. I need one in my shop? A gantry crane? Do I? What is the load rating of the steel beams in your garage? Spoiled. If we were gonna do a crane in my garage, you would need to put in more columns for the crane itself. I do not think this structure is good for having a crane attached to it. With that being said, if we had like a, I don't know, 10,000 pound gantry crane, 10,000 pounds is a right nice round number. I can't see myself lifting up anything else, like anything heavier than that in this shop. That would be very, very cool. That would be very cool. I'm not sure the shop would be able to handle the power draw, though. We would need to get 200 amp out here at that point. Anyway, get back to this. In parallel, clean room outfitting is underway. The Twitcher isn't wrong. A nice bridge crane can be good. Yep. The transporter erector rail installation is progressing. Trains? Would the floor be solid enough? There's a 12-foot or 12-inch slab. The shop's on a 12-inch slab, meaty. So yeah, should be good enough. I like how you're seriously thinking about it. With enough pulleys, you could run on low power, just slower, yeah. Or a locomotive generator to power the crane. Andrew, I've just decided right now that I need to hit the Powerball. If we hit the Powerball, I'll do all this stuff. I'm not even kidding. Powerball is almost to $1 billion. I would do all this. An A-frame is way more practical. Foundation for the approach road is complete. Permanent site power has been activated with 2 dedicated 22 kilovolt feeds that can support planned loads in future expansions. Ah, yes, those are boxes. So would you order your own lattice crane? I know a guy that could operate it. Let me put it to you like that. Is this Borderlands? It did look like Borderlands. On the commodity side, the water tower is being painted, and a vaporizer was installed at the water farm. Final foundation for the cross-country piping is complete. Progress continues advancing for Terranar's first flight, while laying the foundation for high-volume launch operations. Florida will be home to expanded infrastructure. Hold on 1 second. Huh. Nice. I see it. Yeah, I see it. This crane right here, fellas, is not for building the lightning towers. Let me put it to you like that. Neither is that one. They aren't tall enough. Let me put it to you like that. Those two, this one is working on whatever that is over there. This guy right here is assembling a bigger crane. Let me put it to you like that. Ask your accounting guy if you can get a gantry crane. Never mind the IRS. Yeah, yeah. If I didn't pay taxes, I could probably afford one, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, those cranes are building a bigger crane to build the lightning towers. Florida will also be home to expanding infrastructure to support future missions and a growing launch cadence. Beyond technical execution, we continue to secure opportunities that reinforce long-term demand for Terran R. You know what, guys? It's a very interesting thing. When Terran R started, when Relativity started doing these update videos, I forget when they started doing these update videos, I asked a very interesting question. How the frick are you going to scale? Right? Now, does Relativity have a big enough facility? Yeah, of course. Relativity is using the C-17 production facility in Long Beach, California. They're using the old C-17 assembly line, which, to be honest, it should still be the C-17 assembly line, but, you know, people who run defense procurement are stupid. And we'll just leave that at that one. But long story short, this is where Relativity is making stuff. Now, I often asked how the heck you're going to scale. How are you going to scale? Because do they have a big enough production facility? Well, yeah, absolutely. But also, Relativity is procuring barrel segments and domes from Arion Space. No, seriously, Terran R, that right there is a dome from Arion 6. Or the same production line that made Arion 6. If you really want to know. Not a lot of people know that. The barrel segments and the domes are outsourced. Right? But it seems like that's changing. I called that at the time, don't take this the wrong way, Europeans. I called that really stupid. That was a dumb thing to do. But what I'm realizing now is, because I don't think relying on Arion Group for scaling your launch vehicle cadence is a wise decision. Apparently, Relativity doesn't think that either. So they selected Florida for additional Terran R infrastructure, which gives you know, that I'm asking two questions at this point. Is this additional architecture to make barrel segments and domes? Because if it is, okay, cool. And if you're building everything here, why have the production facility in Long Beach at all? You're stupid. I know. Spoiled. You could see Relativity moving into a new facility and giving that facility back to the Air Force for C-17 production. Yep. 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 Because, yeah, that's an Arion 6 dome right there. They were using... My guess would be Relativity didn't, at the time when they had a huge capital investment, didn't have enough cash, despite the capital investment, to build, to bring dome production in-house. Now, after some time, and they've kind of been progressing, right? And they've scored some launch contracts too. Now they can afford to build that facility. They either scored more funding, Series B, Series C funding, or they got the contracts and now they have enough to build more facilities in Florida, which is pretty cool. This company's expanding at a rate that's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal, dudes. This is that all looks so silly in a C-17 production assembly line. I'm just putting it out there, but also the ceilings are way too high. Yeah, Fluffy, I know. But that's very interesting. Very interesting. Dude, look at the power runs. Look at all the conduits to power all the machines. What type of machines we got here? Can anybody tell me what all those... So that's a 5-axis mill over there, I think. I heard they had a big daddy with a big bank account. Well, Eric Schmidt is one of the investors for Relativity Space. Eric Schmidt, Google Eric Schmidt. So, yes. Relativity has some deep pockets behind them, so... You see DMG Mori CNCs. That's what that looks like. Yeah. Look. Impulse and Relativity and have NSS3 Phase 3 lane launch service providers. Oh, yeah. It's an assembly machine Mark II with a 0.75 crafting speed. Is it stationeers? A few laser sintering machines as well. Yeah. Now I'm understanding what's going on here. Yeah, I called them using Arion domes stupid at the time. Because, not because I think using Arion 6 domes are stupid. But I very much think, now that we have a little bit of perspective, that was a temporary solution until you find you have the liquidity to build your own. In which case you bring it in-house, vertically integrate the company, and now you have a competitor on the launch market. So at the time, temporary procurement of domes from Arion Space was actually just basically a stopgap. Or, yeah, you know what I mean. So that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Because there's no way you're going to get scale production from Arion Space. They're going to prioritize Arion 6 over anything else and go from there. And the way that Arion Group and Arion Space and the Arion 6 program has their rockets set up, their factory is designed to produce a certain amount of Arion 6 rockets per year to stabilize out the demand of the factory and keep it nice and constant. That is one of the reasons why Europe chose, the French, that's one of the reasons why Arion Space chose to make Arion 6 expendable, so they could keep their factory producing at the same constant rate every year. That's why I knew that procuring domes from them is not smart, because they can't scale. Their factory's not designed to. Maybe it can, like, here and there, but not to build 100 of these things. Maybe, like, 1 or 2 extra domes a year. And once again, that's not a mark against the Europeans. If that's the way you guys want to do it, do it. That's what we do with SLS, so makes sense. But most of the Europeans have probably gone to bed at this point, so we would talk crap about them behind their back and they won't know. Hey, John, we're going to need more DoD launch providers. The next global war will be fought as much in orbit with unmanned systems as under the sea. Da, 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 dun, 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 dun. Some of you guys are still here. Oh, don't look. Don't make eye contact. Sorry, wrong pipe again. I'm just kidding. What's up? Excuse me, Mr. E. Hey. You okay? Yeah, no, I'm good. Are you okay? All right. That's the engine section. There's going to be 13 engines in this damn thing. Nazar. It makes me happy that the A2 test stand is getting used. But also, that stage is much too small for that test stand. It needs to be at least 3 times as big. Also, the B2 test stand is over there in the background. Wait, what's going on with the B2 test stand in that picture? Somebody's doing work over there. Interesting. Can I see the pad stuff again, dudes, if you guys don't mind? When I talk about this, I read the subtitles, and I don't really get to see what's going on here. Seems like every heavy lift crane in Florida is at the Cape right now. Yes. Dude, if I saw that correctly, that, look, man, here, I'll show you. Cranes. We like cranes. Transporter erectors getting made. That's super cool, actually. Clean room outfitting. They're using train tracks. Very interesting. Looks like metal ties right there. Also, that track's crooked, by the way. They'll fix it. They're also playing Borderlands. They're good up to 22,000 volts, which is a fair amount. Not full industrial power, but close. Okay, so see this crane right here? That thing. See how it looks chunky compared to this thing over here? See that sucker? That crane is not lifting particularly heavy stuff. It looks like it's assembling the lightning towers. Right? It's assembling the sub-assemblies of the lightning tower. So you can see they're building a segment over there. But look at this thing and look at that thing. Those cranes, see how chunky they are compared to this thing? These are cranes that have a boom hooked directly to the mast. See this thing? That kind of U-shaped thing right there? That's the mast of the crane. When you have a boom with pendants going directly to the mast like this, see that? Right here? This tells me you're lifting something extremely heavy. See how this is set up? It's chunky. Just look at it. It looks way more heavy duty than this thing over here. It looks like this thing would snap trying to lift what this thing can, right? That tells me they're building another crane there. They're building a much bigger crane there. And the bigger crane is probably going to handle the lightning protection system. So something like the Sarens, the CC8800, you can't use that. The Sarens is down the street at Blue, right? You can't use that. You can't use a Liebherr 13,000. The only other Liebherr 13,000 in the area is up the street at SpaceX, at Slick 37, right? Like, all the super heavy lift cranes are... It's funny because they need them to build these stupid towers, but they're within a couple miles of each other, but you can't use them for this because they're being used to build other launch pads, which is... I just want to point out how ridiculously cool that actually is, but also, whatever they're building here is something on par with a Liebherr 13,000, or A Manitowoc 21,000 could be, dude, 21,000s are no joke. I can't really tell. It's behind, whatever they're building is behind the left lightning tower. Or like a Sarin CC8800. This is a big crane, dude. It has a red boom in the imagery. Oh, dude, you know what? That's a good idea. Hold on. We should look at Harry's pictures. The pictures from Harry Stranger. Hold on 1 second. Let's take a peek. What do we got? So, there's the 13,000. That's building the Slick 37. That's building the tower at Slick 37. All right, let's go full screen. All right. And then down here at LC 36, there's the CC 8800. See how the boom is big? That's a big freaking crane, and there's more pieces of it over there. Now let's go look at LC 16. So there's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. What do we got here? Yep. There it is. Holy shit balls. That thing is huge. Okay, so you got your main boom there, you got twin jibs, and then you got your boom extension right there. It's got a derrick and a mast. This is that's a big crane. That is a big crane. The red suggests Manitowoc 21,000. If you've never seen one of these things, it looks like a Jawa sandcrawler. So this is the user guide for it. Yeah. Yeah, it's got 4 trucks, dude. That crane's as big as the crawler transporter. Well, maybe not as big as the crawler transporter. It's smaller, but dude, look at it. It's got 4 bogies, man. Look at that thing. Oh, that is cool. That is cool. That's a big crane, man. I'll link the, I think 150 feet? No. Chris, the configuration they have this thing in is, probably like 300 meters tall, if I had to guess. Judging by how long that boom is. It's big, man. That is a big crane. How much does it weigh? I don't know. Oh, here we go. That's the counterweight assembly. It's 1.1 million pounds or 509,000 kilos, so 500 tons. Hanging counterweight's another 500. It's got a 600 ton load block? A 600-ton load block? What the hell made that? Oh my goodness. That's nuts, dude. 300 meters. Meters yard. No, that was... I didn't confuse meters and feet. This is a huge freaking crane. Manitowoc 21,000s are gigantic. Like, that is a monster. Monster vehicle. 900 metric ton capacity, dude. So, little bit of perspective here. Two of these cranes working in tandem, guys, 2 of the cranes working in tandem could lift up a fully fueled space shuttle stack. SRB's fully fueled external tank. two of these cranes, if you put them over each SRB and lift it, it would lift the stack up. That's the size we're talking about here. A fully fueled shuttle stack. You could lift it up. Two of those things could lift it. No problem. Can you send the link to this PDF? Yeah, sure. This is only the 21,000. There's a 31,000 now. That's about as big as you're gonna get for a lattice crane. There is some bigger, but yes, that's bananas, dude. That's cool, man. I'm really happy that that Harry's pictures show it. That's absolutely the 21,000. That is a huge freaking crane, man. Super cool. And you can see they put the train tracks in on this picture too.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hmm. 80 months from GAW. It's a link of this crane doing 39B. Yeah, go ahead, Jack. Post it. Oh. Do they need cranes to build the crane? Yes. In Relativity's footage, dude, that crane is building it right there. Oh. Oh. Well then. There it is. Left side of the screen. Right there. Relativity is using it to build lightning towers. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess it's probably the same design. And I'll bet you that that's the same crane. Something like this doesn't go very far. Dude, that's what I mean. Dude, look. Nice. Look at the size of the crane, dude. Guys, SLS sitting on its mobile launcher, the top of it would probably be like right here. The lightning towers are taller than the rocket. I don't think so, Clayton, no. Is the crane to build the crane included with the price of the crane, though? Yes. Or no. No, it's if you're buying the crane for operation, no. If you're renting the crane for use, yes. I know a guy, Yarg. Crane makes everything look small. Yeah, dude, look at the frickin' look at that thing. It's a huge crane. And like I said, I'll bet you that's the same one. I bet you that's the same crane. I just saw two 31,000s could almost lift a Starship full stack fully fueled. Yep. It is the same crane, Jack? Yeah. Like I said, that thing doesn't go far. I know that there's a crane yard. There's a crane yard near here. I'll bet you we can find it. Near the Cape. I know we've looked at it. It's right by where SpaceX's old Starship facilities were. Let's take a peek. It would be right here. Let's see if we can find it. Look around for red crane parts. Oh, there it is. There it is. We found it. That was easy. Wow. There you go. Oh, there's the rest of it. See that? That's not a crane part. You can't be showing gore like that on stream. It's just sleeping, dude. Relax. A lot of people show things sleeping on stream. And people. You see that, though? That is a one-way crane. It can lift things, yeah. Yeah. Anybody know what that is? It's just sitting in the woods back there. I've often wondered about that. P-38 modulator? No. It's a rocket and it's stainless steel. Here, let me zoom out a little bit. It might be easier to see. It's an SM-65, dude. Guy who owns this facility just has an SM-65 sitting in the freaking in the backyard. I want an SM-65 in my backyard. Can I have one? Dude, there's so much cool. There's all the 21,000 parts right there. There they all are. It's all the red stuff. And then there's the chassis for it. It's right there. Well, that's pretty neat. Is that all junk? No, these are crane parts, Clayton. See this thing right there? It's not junk. This isn't some dude's junk. I don't know what that Atlas is doing back there. I don't know. I don't know why it's there. I was looking for crane parts here one time and I found it. Let's see if we can get a clearer picture of it. Nah, not nearly as... What's that? Huh. Huh. I have to go ask about that. That looked... When did that clearing pop up? Hold on. I don't remember seeing that here before. Let's go to 2020... 2025. Somebody's doing something back there. Somebody's doing something. Okay? Okay, something's peeking. What is this? Huh. Huh. So out of all the cranes at the Cape right now, which is the most powerful? The 21,000 or it's the 21,000 or the Liebherr 13,000? The Saren's, the CC8800 might be able to move more. Concrete plant? Guys, those look like fuel tanks for a test stand. That's what that looks like, but I don't know. It could be anything. I don't know. Who knows? That's the old Roberts, or not Roberts. That's the old Sidco Road, I think. SpaceX used to be over here. They built that building to make Starship parts, but they have not done that in a while. This is that, to be fair, SpaceX's facilities over here, the Sidco Road, old Sidco Road facility, that was the reason why I found all this. For what it's worth. Yeah, Blue has that facility now. I don't know what they use it for. They use it for Blue things. But dude, look at all the cranes. A couple of Groves back there. There's all the telescopers. These are all telescoping cranes. Dude, look at all the damn lattice crane parts. Holy shnikes. Dude, there's so much. Cool. I'm not saying my backyard would look like this if we hit Powerball, but you know, where we at right now? That's Port St. John. Anyway, that's cool. I'm sorry I made space news about cranes, but also they're building out that 21,000 for the lightning towers, I'm pretty sure. That'll make 3 super heavy lifting cranes being used on the Cape simultaneously. The Sarin CC8800, the Liebherr 13,000 with power boom attachment. Both of those have power booms, and the Manitowoc 21,000. Those are 3 Gigantor cranes. Brimo gets new kitchen before you get backyard toys. I'll buy Brimo a freaking restaurant. We hit the Powerball, Ewok. I'll buy you a restaurant. Seriously. If I hit that Powerball, anybody that's been subscribed to the stream more than 130 months at this particular point in time, I'll give you 100 grand. I'll pay the subscription back with interest. What's the interest rate? 5,000%? It's fine, whatever. Actually, a bakery, please? Done. I want stake in the business, though. It's like Shark Tank. What about 112 months? I want money.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Damn, son. I'm not even kidding, dude. I'm not, dude. We would have some fun. Fluffy, you're like 17, so you get like $3. Yeah, that's fine. But that's if I won the Powerball. So that's not happening. Anyway,
Discovery,
remember how I
throttle
told
up.
you in that relativity video how you should be testing for like qualification and stage integrity? I don't know if you guys saw the Long March 7A launch from the other day. It was streamed. Hey, Red 8, 136 months. Okay, but can I then turn around and immediately invest that into whatever you make? Sure, that's fine. So here is a good exercise in making sure you've done your homework in what's called load analysis. I know of a crane heaven that RLNG project site. Yes, it is. Vert. The Rio Grande, the Brownsville LNG terminal. Oh my goodness, dude. Real quick. When I was down there for Flight 8, me and Das drove by that thing going to South Padre, and I was just like,
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Das was driving, and he looks at me and goes, "Good night, Irene," and just keeps driving. I'm like, "Get the baby," you know. Started making funny noises, dude. Das just went. He's there. He just went. I'm just like, dude, you know. You want to show this? Some Chinese media might discredit it. Oh, what? Show them footage of their rocket snapping in half? Oops. Oh, that sucks. So watch the top monitor. The top center. Oh, that's not great. That's not ideal. Yeah. So this is the Long March 7A. It's a 3-stage variant. The 3-stage variant is different than the 2-stage variant in that the second and third stage on the 3-stage variant are different than the second stage on the 2-stage variant. And I originally said this was a failure of the second stage, but it's not. Because it's the 3-stage variant, it's definitely a failure between the second and third stage, which is very strange. That's okay. So a couple of things real quick. Long March 7A, from what I understand, has launched plenty of times. The 3-stage variant has launched plenty of times. So that means it's launched with pretty reasonable success. It has one prior partial failure on an insertion burn. But for the most part, it's done 14 flights and it's just fine. Like more or less fine. To have a failure this far into operational missions, that means you change something or it's a massive quality control problem. Either way, that was launching a Chinese government, not that every one of them isn't a Chinese government launch. That was launching a spy satellite. Oops. Did it land on any villagers? No, that launched from Wenchang, which is on the coast. It's on Hainan Island, near Vietnam. So high level wind shear could be a bunch of different things, dudes. Could be the flight. I'm inclined to say it's probably the payload and the trajectory, because either that or a massive quality control problem. Because, dude, you don't launch the rocket like 13 times prior and have it work fine, and then you launch this and it doesn't work. That's not how any of this works. It'll, as long as you do the same thing every time, it will do the same thing every time. So they changed something. I'm inclined to say either a massive quality control problem, which I'm not sure you'd get that in China nowadays, to be 100% honest with you. It's all cheap. So, it's all cheap, then none of it's cheap. Right? Right? Yeah. Mustang? Anyway. Or it could be that they flew this on a much more aggressive trajectory and nobody checked the load analysis to make sure that the rocket could take it. They just sent it, which that sounds more plausible in my mind. So, who knows? It was missing ullage gases. Man, there's not any ullage gases in the interstage, though. Give me one sec. Whatever the mistake is, I hope they keep making it. Yeah. Dude, that's not a great failure. That's actually pretty... Oh. That's devastating, dude. You do all this work, get your propulsion right, and then the freaking thing blows up. That sucks. I have plenty of experience with this, don't I? If you watched Kerbal this afternoon, oh yeah, we had plenty of experience there. Yeah, so Long March 7A took a dump. Not great. If it folds like that, go see a doctor. What if I have max Q lasting more than 4 hours? Wouldn't that just be an airplane? Jinx! I missed the Kerbal stream. Yeah. Highland... We went to try and launch that shuttle stack that we threw together, and I said it was a mock-up for a reason, and then chat's like, launch it anyway, and I tried to launch it, and it blew up. Because it was a mock-up, and not an actual flight hardware stack. I have mock-ups that I use when we play the game. So, because usually when I play the game, we're playing it with money, like with currency in the game. And I use mock-ups so I don't, if it blows up, you don't lose a full flight fidelity stack. You know what I mean? Wait, and why do we listen to chat? Yeah, that's a good point. And China saw SpaceX not throttle down for max Q on Flight 13 and wanted to try. That might not be far from the truth, Henris. But anyway, speaking of SpaceX, Elon Musk delivered a company update to SpaceX employees, and it was posted this afternoon. So let's see what we got here. Pretty much, Yargles. Oh, we can't mute that. We got it. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't like the music. Here, it just. Okay, all right, cool.
In order to understand the nature of the universe and all these fundamental questions, we must expand the scope and scale of consciousness.
So it's been a while since the last company talk, and I'll try to do these now every 3 months after our earnings calls, which is when I'm allowed to talk about things, essentially, at this point. So we're going to start off just by going through the history of SpaceX from the beginning, and then to present day. I think once in a while it's good to look at the whole story and then think about, what do you want the next chapters to be in the story? What do you want the next book to be in this story? So we started off with a clear mission, which is to make life multiplanetary, to extend consciousness beyond Earth, to understand the universe. And you can only understand the universe if you go out there and you explore and you see other planets and ultimately other star systems. And I think one of the most inspiring things that one could possibly imagine, one of the most inspiring futures one could imagine, is one when we're out there among the stars and perhaps meeting alien civilizations or exploring the ruins of civilizations that lasted 1 million years but died out 10 million years ago. I think that's when I wake up in the morning and think about what is inspiring, because we need things in this world that are inspiring. Like, life cannot just be about solving one problem or after another. There have to be things that make you look forward to the future. And being a spacefaring civilization, I think, is the most interesting thing we could possibly do for the future. It is making Star Trek real. You know, it's, yeah. Well, this is how we started out. Yeah. So, I don't know, maybe I should have another mariachi band or something. You know, for this end of year party, we're going to have a lot of mariachi bands in honor of this. But this was all of SpaceX in the beginning. Just a small warehouse in El Segundo. And then Falcon 1. And we really had no idea at the start of SpaceX how to actually make rockets. And obviously we blew up a rocket 3 times before finally reaching orbit.
Jeez.
It looks almost really cute at this point. So. And then we went through the long effort of trying to land an orbital boost.
Okay, yep, can't. That's Monty Python. It'll mute it. Da 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 dun da dun da dun da dun da dun da da. Here, how you get this? saw that live, dude. I was there. Okay.
So it wasn't easy figuring out how to land an orbital booster and then refly them. But then we got good at it after a while. Took many attempts from a very talented and dedicated team. And now we've got to the point where we take off and land and recover a booster every few days. By the way, is the noise behind me a little too loud? Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. All right. So I think it's always important to reflect upon the difficulty of achieving things, because when we were trying to land the booster, no one really believed that we could succeed. And I was told by so many experts in the aerospace industry that you're not going to succeed in doing this, and even if you do, no one's going to buy a rocket that was, a used rocket, essentially. Which really makes no sense because airplanes are reflown all the time. And frankly, I'd rather be on the 1,000th flight of an aircraft than its first flight. So we changed the nomenclature to flight proven booster, which is true. So we managed to do Falcon Heavy, which is the most powerful rocket in the world before Starship. Operational,
I don't know where this is, dudes. It's hard to say.
And yeah, it's amazing to think that we've got our 700th flight coming up. So just a huge testament to the incredible work of the Falcon team and the launch team, manufacturing team. I would just like to give everyone a hand for doing such an amazing job.
So guys, everybody here that's wearing a high-vis, they all have Starlink logos on the back, so that tells me that this is a Starlink factory. So this would be Kent, Washington, if anything.
See. And of course, this is classic. I fully expected this flight to fail, by the way. So that's the car that I was driving around LA for like 3 years. And because I thought, well, it's the first flight of Falcon Heavy, probably going to fail. But we don't want to put something boring on it, like, I think Boeing or whatever would put like a concrete block, which is extremely boring. So we put Starman flying around, and he's still up there. The car is orbiting between Earth and Mars. So, and we'll be up there, I think, for at least 10 million years.
Nah, you should go get it.
And then, of course, Dragon, first privately developed spacecraft to dock with the space station, and first commercial astronaut. We've now done many astronaut missions. I think it won't be long before we get past 100 astronauts to orbit and back.
Jeez.
So, Dragon has been an amazing vehicle. So we've flown 78 crew members to date, and it's been an epic success. So I'd like to say congrats also to the Dragon team. Excellent work. And then Starlink, it's like, well, if you've got a rocket that can fly a lot, what do you fly on it? And so the Starlink team has built from nothing an entire global internet system, and it's the first high bandwidth global internet system ever to exist. And I actually think that down the road it'll probably be, I think it'll probably do a majority of the internet. In fact, I think it might end up doing over 90% of all internet traffic on Starlink. So, which is really incredible to think.
Remember when, like, during the first, do you guys remember like the first Starlink mission, like Tintin A and Tintin B, where they said that Starlink wouldn't be competing with major ISPs. It's designed to service it's designed to work in underserviced locations and won't be competing with like terrestrial fiber networks. You guys remember that? I think SpaceX may have been lying. I think they were, it's like in Commando. Hey, ISP, you remember when I said I was going to kill you last? Oh yeah, that's right, SpaceX, you did. I lied. I lied. Please take down Spectrum first. Oh, they're screwed. Revue, they're screwed, man. Bro, they already took down HughesNet. They took down HughesNet, which is crazy. Viasat's next. Personally, Viasat is my bone to pick. Because I paid $20 on a freaking flight for Wi-Fi service that is slower than my 56K modem is faster than that pile of crap. I call them Viasuck.
Almost 11,000 satellites in orbit. That's more than twice as many satellites as everyone else combined.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Starlink V3 and beyond, we'll go to 100,000 satellites.
I'm sorry?
So
what?
That's really quite remarkable. It's quite difficult to build the internet in space, rebuild the entire internet in space, all of the hardware, all of the software, and yet the team has done it. So huge congrats to the Starlink team.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yep, so we're now in 167 countries, 22 million mobile subscribers, 13 million high bandwidth subscribers.
Wait a minute. Was that guy just asking AI where he is?
Countries.
Where am I? Is this what normies do with AI? Hey Raven, thanks for the raid. Is this what normies do? Is this why my power bill sucks? Because you have boneheads that take a picture and ask AI where the hell they are? What a... Damn it! This is why RAM costs so much. Because people like this. This guy's probably gonna hit the think harder button. Look, there's a think harder button. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. Think harder, please. Where am I? Dude, there's this thing that they invented. It's called a fucking map. And it requires no electricity to run. All right, anyway, moving
22 million mobile subscribers, 13 million high bandwidth subscribers. And like I said, expect
He can't think any harder. He's already thinking harder now. He can't pull over anymore.
These numbers to increase by more than a factor of 10 over time. And
I'm sorry, I don't really care that much. I just thought it was funny.
long term, probably in fact, Cloudflare just recently mentioned that based on the current growth, they think probably AI traffic will be 1,000 times more than human internet traffic in 5 years. Like, let that sink in for a minute. You know?
No, I already have a sink, Elon. It flooded. Damn it. Congratulations, you just played yourself.
It's a lot of AI.
Oh boy, I'm so excited about it. Hey, can you think harder,
and then we've
please?
got Starshield, which is has become a vital part of national security. So there's limited. We can't say too much about Starshield for obvious reasons because it's top secret and stuff. But
you're saying stuff about it right now, though.
The Starshield team has done amazing work, and it is now a vital part of America's national security. So
that's kind of cool. Bargon, is the sink your basement or an actual sink? No. My basement identifies as a sink, so I have already let that sink
Discovery,
in.
go at throttle up.
Because basement, it's subterranean. We synced it. Why did I even bring this up?
Congrats.
Anyway, moving on. Wayland Yutani in the making. Oh gosh. You sink. Oh yeah. I thought it was a sink due to the refrigerator.
Yeah, Starship is amazing.
Well, my freezer decided it wanted to be a sink, and then it overflowed. You know whose fault it was? It was the Wet Bandits. Did bringing it up give you a sinking feeling? Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it did.
Wow.
Wow.
Hard to believe that humans made such a thing.
I seen it though. I seen it.
I think the future AI will look back and say, not bad for a bunch of humans.
Why are we laughing at this? Why would you laugh? Why
so
is that
Starship
funny?
is obviously an incredible vehicle.
At Grok, does EJ have a sink?
It's what will take us from roughly 2,500 tons to orbit per year to over 1 million tons to orbit per year, and I think maybe even to 10 million tons per year. These are mind-boggling numbers. But I'd say it's highly likely we do over 1 million tons a year to orbit with Starship,
Now we're
and
talking.
probably close to 10 million, which is mind-boggling, obviously. But that's the kind of tonnage that you need in order to build a civilization on the moon, Mars, and beyond. If you can't deliver millions of tons to Earth orbit, you can't get the millions of tons that you need to the moon and Mars to make us a sustainably multi-planet species. So it's an incredible vehicle. Like I said, I think it's arguably the hardest thing that humanity's ever tried to do. And the Starship team has done an amazing job across the board with engines, avionics, structures, launch operations. So big hand for the Starship team. So where are things headed in terms of SpaceX AI? The wild thing is that probably our AI revenue, not probably, definitely, our AI revenue will exceed all other SpaceX revenue probably in September, like next month. And will significantly exceed all other SpaceX revenue in the fourth quarter. So AI has become an extremely important part of SpaceX's future. I think it's actually vital.
So what he just said was that next month, Starlink will have made more money than SpaceX made in the 20 years prior, launching payloads into space. That includes like NASA contracts, commercial contracts, et cetera, et cetera. That's, yeah, I mean, I believe that, dude. I mean, Starlink is pulling in like 1.4 billion a month or something from their earnings reports, dude. 1.4 B a month, dude. Frick, that must be nice, dude. That must be nice. Dude, from their earnings report, SpaceX has $150 billion cash on hand. Some of it realized, 50 billion of it is unrealized. 100 billion of it is realized. So that means they have 100 billion in liquidity. 100 billion in liquidity, dude. That is freaking nuts, man. That's the other reason why I said when like ship 40 landed, I'm like, dude, they'll go get it. They got a blank check. They can go and get it, no problem. Will Amazon's competitor have any kind of chance to compete? They have the permits, just got to launch it.
That we succeed in AI.
It's a lot of chicken nuggets. You're damn
not
right.
just
it
in
is,
hardware.
Wait a
but
minute. Wait a
also
minute. Wait a minute. Jim. Dino nuggets or regular nuggets? This is important. Because we're buying the dino nuggets, might be a little bit less. Because let's go dino. Oh, dino nuggies is where it's at. I'm 38. I still have dino nuggets. I still eat them. I don't care. I don't really care. Who knows? They're delicious. It's chicken nuggets, man. They're easy to make. Easy to make. You can munch on them. Make them up with some tater tots. You know, maybe if you're feeling like relatively healthy, some rice. Some rice pilaf with dino nuggies and green beans. I don't give a frick. I'm 38. I don't care. I'll eat those. That's fine with me. Freaking love dino nuggets. Freaking love that kid. I'm like the dino nugget king. Do you bite the head or the legs first? Head. Head first. The real question is what kind of dipping sauce? Maple syrup. Don't look at me like that. If you've had chicken and waffles, you wouldn't knock it. I'm the ramen king. Your kids found 6-7 nuggets at Walmart. Oh God. No, dude, seriously. Take dino nuggets, dip it in maple syrup. Trust me. It's delicious.
Software. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
guess mayo's fine. That's
the future is
acceptable.
fundamentally AI and robots.
No, you're half right.
Assuming civilization continues to progress, I think that AI will
Honey will work
probably, the amount of digital intelligence will probably be more than 1 trillion times the amount of biological intelligence. So not sort of equal to human intelligence, but probably 1 trillion times higher. I'd say a billion times is an easy prediction, and probably 1 trillion. So as you harness more and more of the sun's energy, the ability to turn that into intelligence is fundamentally a digital computer thing, because it's pretty hard for humans to go live in deep space without any support. I mean, some of the math is interesting to think about, which is that if you increased civilizational energy usage, or the amount of energy that we have harnessed as a civilization, by a factor of 1 million, you would still be using much less than 1/millionth of the sun's energy. Now, most of this is in deep space, obviously, but the future is very much AI, very much. And I suppose it was always going to be that way. But it's important that we have an AI that cares about humanity, that fosters humanity and helps take us to other planets and other star systems. And this is why I think it's essential that SpaceX succeed, not just with AI hardware, but also with AI software. I think an AI that is sort of SpaceX's baby will be a very good AI. I think SpaceX is a collection of some of the very best humans on Earth, both in capability and morality and goodness. And I think we want to have an AI that is born of that capability and that morality and that goodness. I think that's very, very important. So I'd like to encourage people to help out, actually, with the AI hardware on the ground and the AI software, and of course with the AI satellites. Solar is going to be a very important part of that. The terafab will be a very important part of that. But we must also succeed on the software front. And we're going to be training Grok on the sum total of all SpaceX information. So in a way, it'll be trained on you. It'll be, yeah. I mean, you will effectively be the parents of the AI. It will inherit your thoughts and ideas and beliefs, and I think that's a good thing.
I do not.
So,
A good thing at all.
yeah, we gotta win here on the AI hardware and the AI software. That maybe is the most important message. I think that is actually the most important message I wanted to convey today, is that we must win on AI, because the future is overwhelmingly AI and robots. So
Yeah, I'm here for
we
the
won't,
Starship
we won't
update.
ultimately be able to control the AI.
Well,
It'll be too smart for that. But just like if you have a child that is a super genius child, you can still instill in that child the values and beliefs that you think are good and right. And so that's why it's incredibly important that we succeed with Grok. So, yeah, well, Grok 4.5 you've tried probably. We've got 4.6 coming out in about a week. And then 4.7 should be really pretty special. So I'd like to encourage everyone at SpaceX to use AI and to make it better. So. We've already built the most powerful AI training clusters in the world. And then this is what we expect to do by the end of next year is about 10 times more than what we've done thus far. This will be very important practice for space AI. And I do think that AI training will continue to be on the ground, but AI inference, the day-to-day use of AI, will be in space. So we're aiming to get to 10 gigawatts by the end of next year. This is, depending on what the value per watt is if the value per watt is probably going to be $30 to $50, which means if we bring 10 gigawatts of AI online by the end of next year, it will be $300 to $500 billion a year in revenue. Big numbers. So. And sometimes I wonder, what is our purpose? And it could be that our purpose is, that the purpose of humanity is to give birth to a star mind, a sentient sun. I don't know what the AI is going to think about, honestly. It's a lot of compute. But I guess this is the next step in the evolution of a civilization, is to harness the power of the sun. I mean, there was a physicist called Kardashev who argued that you could consider any given civilization on the basis of whether it has been able to harness most of the power of its planet, or most of the power of its sun, or most of the power of its galaxy, and beyond. So that's what's going to happen, and we're going to do it. So. The factory for StarMind will be located nearby, adjacent to us, basically.
they're in Bastrop.
They just come from space. It's amazing. So. long term, more not that far into the future, probably in 4 or 5 years, AI will be 99% of the value of SpaceX. I'd say 5 years for sure. AI will be 99% of the value of SpaceX. And the value of SpaceX will be some astronomical number. So,
Here, you get this. Yeah, Cozy, I do. I do, Dino, yeah.
now that's what you call an interesting. Now that is what you call an interesting future, a very interesting future. It's like Robert Heinlein's "Moon is a harsh mistress," but mass drivers building AI compute on the moon and sending it into deep space. I'd really like to see that thing in operation. One of the nice benefits of this also is that anyone at SpaceX who wants to go to the moon or Mars will be able to go in the future. You have my word. It'd be pretty fun to have a party on the moon, you know, just jumping around, you know. So, yeah. It will be an incredibly exciting future where we're a spacefaring civilization and there are people on every part of our solar system and eventually going to other star systems. So I think this will happen. So, yeah, and you're going to make it happen. So thank you.
See, we've watched a lot of these before in the past and stuff, guys, and I'll say what I said before, dude. I understand AI, I get it, I know what it is, I know how it works. It's just, the thing about AI is that it doesn't really spark joy in my heart at all. Like, I get more satisfaction out of seeing a crane. Like, or, like figuring out how a crane works or something. It's not that I particularly like. I don't hate it by any means. It just doesn't do anything for me. I'm not hating. It's super useful. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like it isn't. It just doesn't do anything for me. Like, try Claude Code? Yeah, maybe. The only thing I would use Claude to do is write KRPC scripts for it, in which case, if I prompt an AI to write a rocket guidance system for me, I'm pretty sure someone's going to get upset about that. That's not me. You know, it's just, I understand it, and I think it's cool. You know, what about a crane controlled by AI? What would that do? You know, I just, like I said, it just, I don't know. Like, I don't, once again, I'm not hating. And I understand the AI is useful. It's just, it's not human spaceflight. Even though it might be the avenue for us to do human spaceflight, in which case, I'll say what I said on a space news probably about 8 years ago when the first, it actually wasn't, it was maybe 2019 or 2020 or something. I said that NASA should have their own rockets because you don't want SpaceX or any commercial entity being the only way to get to the moon. I said that, yeah, I think like 2019. And the next time someone says, oh, we don't need SLS, you probably should tell them to shut up. You probably should tell them to be quiet. Yeah, yeah. And once again, I'm not, like, guys, I'm not hating by any means. And there's no, it's certainly like not in my best interest to be critical either, because I have, you know, I have one share of SpaceX, right? But also at the same time, like, yeah, AI just does this. I'm like, this isn't a tech channel. Like, we're not a tech channel here. We do space flight, and that it seems like just all the Elon updates as of late have just been him saying that AI is the future over and over again, and that, you know, it certainly. And I know it's not necessarily like this, but the vibes that get put off makes it seem like SpaceX's like original goals of like Mars colonization are an afterthought at this point, which I know that's not what's going on. I get it, but also it doesn't mean it doesn't feel like it, you know. Maybe after, you know, they maybe after Flight 14, I'll feel different, but your AI's daddy. That was an all hands meeting, all systems. So yeah, of course he's gonna say that to the employees. Hey Drew, every single bit of automation has been driven by cutting labor costs. What kind of future is exciting when everyone is unemployed? No really new info. Yeah, Ryan was all up in chat saying, "No, don't watch this. It's a nothing burger." Well, I didn't say it, but I wanted to, you know, I like letting people see it for itself. You know, we watch it together and figure that one out. For the average person, AI is a lot closer to them than spaceflight presentation is for us. Yeah, Wisp, you're probably right. I'm just really sick of enjoying something and then it getting co-opted by something else, and then it gets to the point where people say, well, it's not for you. It's like, yeah. Okay. Thanks. PC gamers feel that. It's just, I don't know, man. Yeah, like once again, I'm not like in I don't hate AI. I'm not a hater. I understand. I think for what it's worth, what Elon's saying is right. It's probably better if SpaceX does it. At least they're gonna try to give AI some semblance of a conscience, which I understand. Which that's better than others that I've seen. Right? I get what he's trying to say. It's just, yeah, it doesn't really spark joy in my heart at all. Like, yeah, it feels like this. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, I understand AI. It's a useful tool, super nice. It's just, I mean, dude, I use it to double check my math. If I'm giving you guys a math statistic, I'll type it in just to be sure. Like it's actually superbly useful. Like I used it to figure out, this. I used it this space news. I queried it to do the math on how much a 120 megawatt magnetoplasma dynamic thruster has, and we figured out it has 2.7 newtons. Did the math for you. Well, it didn't do any math. It just cited the JPL source, but whatever. Has anyone asked the AI to explain the three seashells? Yeah. I don't know, dude. Yeah. Like, him saying, "Oh, use AI and train it, and you could be its parents." How is that any different than like what Chris Kemp said at Astra, saying like you have to teach the AI to do your job for you. You have to mandatory AI use, and you're going to teach it to do your job for you, and then we're going to lay you off. Like, how is that any different? I don't understand. I mean, I'm sure Elon has another plan in mind, but yeah, it just I don't know. I think it's cool. Like it's cool in the same way that like let me think. Let me think of a good analogy here. Like okay. It's cool to me in the same way that an anime convention is cool. Like I don't hate anime. I don't like it. I don't watch it a lot, but I don't hate it either. But I wouldn't go to an anime convention either. But that doesn't mean I'd go to an anime convention just to be like, haha, you all suck either. Like it's cool, I get it. It's just not something I'm really kind of into. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't mean that other people aren't like gung ho about it and it's not super cool, right? Like it's just I just don't really. All right. It doesn't spark joy, the same type of joy in my heart that I would get from like seeing a steam engine go by on railroad tracks or something. You know? Hmm. Yeah, yeah, close. Yeah, I know, right, right. It's kind of I don't know, man. I just want rockets, and I just want humans to go further into space because rockets are cool and stuff. And that don't get me wrong. There's no doubt that that's gonna happen. I'm just like, okay, okay. Anyway, that's it for space news, dudes. Did you have a plan for after space news? I wanted to do more Kerbal, but I don't know. Do we know what Elon wants this AI to do once all the sats are up and running, or just to replace? I don't think he wants to replace SpaceX's workforce. I have a lot of questions that I'd be curious to ask, but I don't know. What I really hate about AI is that a lot of people are using it to pass university exams with good results. Yeah, they're using it to pass university exams, not realizing that they're training an AI to inadvertently replace them for the job that they're trying to get from getting a good college degree. Using AI if you're in college to cheat on exams, all that's doing is giving Mark Zuckerberg or Sam Altman or Elon or Anthropic or whomever your money, and you throwing the money that you paid for a college degree out the door. It's literally wealth transfer. Like, how is that not wealth transfer if you sit there and think about it for a second? Battlefield 6? Ryan, I'm taking a break. I'm taking a break from Battlefield, dude. I don't have fun playing it. We played it on Friday. I just don't have fun. It's not fun. It doesn't really do anything for me. Like, well, no, that's not true. I will come back and play Battlefield 6 when I'll be in Michigan for a little while. When I get back on the 24th, that's when we'll jump back in and see if Season 4 changed anything. What I don't really like about Battlefield is that it's inconsistent. It's inconsistent because the regional damage system coupled with netcode doesn't really give... It doesn't reward you for being able to shoot faster. If you're not using the flavor of the month gun, every engagement is going to be a toss-up whether you win or not. When are you leaving? I'm leaving on the 13th, so the last stream will be tomorrow. Thursday the 13th? Yeah. Did you get those books I sent? No, I have not. So the 13th is Thursday. But guys, don't worry. I'm not going to be gone for 2 weeks. I'm going to be in Michigan the 13th through the 24th. But I'm actually building a mobile streaming setup. I'm building out a mobile streaming setup to be able to do space news as well. I'm there. So don't worry, you're not going to see no streams from me. There's just not going to be a lot of games because the laptop doesn't play games very well. I'm going to Michigan because I want to go to Woodward, the Woodward Dream Cruise. Just on a side note, Woodward Dream Cruise, dudes. That's that's been a bucket list item that I want to see. It's a gigantic car show in Detroit. The hotel streams are back. Yeah, there you go, man. Yeah. So I'm going to be at Cleater's Michigan race on Friday. That's why I'm leaving on Thursday. The 14th is Cleater's race. And then Woodward is Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I should be here for Space News, barring some, if we have some different events or whatever. About Friday's Flame Trench, I'm not going to be here. Royal Oak is super loud during the show. Yeah, Kohima, yeah. That's Woodward is something I've always wanted to see, and I've never gone. I thought about coming up to Woodward in the Z06, but then I remembered it would require going to Michigan. I know it's too late now, but it might be with you at some point to get your own Starlink MIDI. Yeah. No, I'm good. Is Woodward old? Sounds like something an old uncle would go to in the 70s. The Woodward Dream Cruises have been around for a little while, yes. If that's what you're asking. Am I wrong? It's named after Woodward Avenue. Woodward Avenue is named after Judge Woodward, who was the first judge from in Michigan when Michigan became a state. I don't know, Drew. Would you like AI cranes lifting AI cars into AI trains? No. No, JC. No, I would not. I guys, I'm a big proponent of humans in the loop. I think the human mind can really be taught whatever. It's the best version of intelligence that we have by a long shot. I mean, you have all these data centers that are just the size of like entire international airports, and that still doesn't compare to one human brain. I mean, if you're just going to be purely pragmatic about the subject, training this system is probably your best bet for progressing society forward. Honest opinion. Do I disagree with Elon about this? Yeah, a little bit, but he's the richest man on the planet, and I'm a Twitch streamer, so I don't know. I don't think my words really stack up against his a lot, but you know, if my words meant something, I think that education is much more important than training AI clusters. But once again, like, it's not like, we could do both of those things. You could always do both. Just saying. A human brain is still better than AI in some circumstances. But AI will surpass what a human brain can do eventually, but it'll do it just sapping insane amounts of power. Your brain, my brain, everybody's brain here, yeah, Alexa works off 10 watts, dude. Our brain needs very low electrical power to do very amazing things, like make Falcon 9, for instance. You know? I think that's the best tool that we have in the arsenal, dude. Just personal opinion. That's cool, Flykin. I think that's cool. It's all fine and dandy to push AI and push the technological boundaries like that with AI. I don't really have a particularly big problem with that. But I think in the future, there's going to be some serious ethical questions with AI other than just Skynet, right? That's going to be a problem. Like, okay, say you have a self-driving car, right? A fully self-driving car. And I'm not trying to denigrate any type of self-driving system. This is just a conditional hypothetical. I think Tesla's autopilot is super cool. Full self-driving is really neat for what it's worth. I think it's super neat. But say in the future, you have a car where you don't have a steering wheel, where you don't have a human in the loop, and that car crashes. Whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? Say you get into a car accident. Say the thing runs a red light. Whose fault is it? Say you have AI running an airplane or something. Just not that I think this would ever happen, but say you do. You say you have an AI that's your not a co-pilot, but your actual pilot, and it's flying a plane around and it makes a mistake. What happens? Whose fault is it? There are some interesting ethical questions that I think need to be answered, but I'm not trying to say that we should like not go down that proverbial tech tree either. You know what I mean? OEMs have been held responsible up until now in many cases. We're out of that business now as a result. Bingo. If the automotive manufacturers are going to they're not going to take the liability, Bob, and they're not going to do it. So what was the point? You know, what if you have an AI doctor and it commits malpractice? Then what? Whose fault is it? Is Elon going to bear the vulnerability for that? I don't think so. Right? Like I think that AI is going to cause some serious ethical problems in the future. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't hate, like I said, I want to reiterate, guys, I don't hate AI. I really don't. I think it's cool. Super useful tool. Pretty interesting piece of technology. It just doesn't, like I said, it just doesn't really. You know what, dudes? I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't mind AI. I really don't. But talking about like having AI doing all your thinking for you, I don't want that. That doesn't spark joy in my heart. AI is actually kind of cool. And we could use it to do some really cool things. Like, I think data analysis with AI is fantastic. That it's a number cruncher, dude. AI to, data analysis is what the calculator is to mathematics, right? I think in that regard, you could do fascinating things. But to sit here and have like, AI drive you around, right, in a car, I don't want that. Like, that's... Yeah, that doesn't seem like a fun future. I don't know. Maybe somebody would want to educate me on this. Like, I'm open to discussion. I'm not just like going to bury my head in the sand here. Like, I don't need AI knowing what I'm thinking. I don't want that. And he's like, oh, tell it your thoughts. No. Guys, you want to know the reason why I'm not too active on social media nowadays? Because it's recording everything. Everything that you say is training an AI. Heck, Twitch implemented it quietly with Twitch streams. And you can opt out of it, but the AI is listening to every word I'm saying right now. Great. What do you think, Jixer? See, from this, it's probably figuring out what tone of motorcycle that is from us talking about it. Like, yeah, geek, there will always be a choice. That's an interesting way to put that. So you need to say things to intentionally mistrain it. Who says I don't? That doesn't seem fun. I don't know, man. I think this is the best computer we have. Sorry, I think this is. Yeah, that's great. A computer can do math faster than you. A computer takes... So let's take Kennard, for instance. Kennard needs 1,000 watts. My brain needs 10. Just saying. Yeah, great. You could do math. It does math faster. It also zaps power a lot faster too. Nice, Tax. That's funny. Dino nuggets. Yeah, my brain. Yeah, that thing needs a power plant, an oil power plant to run. My brain needs dino nuggets to run, baby. Dino nuggets are my power plant. Yeah, I don't know, dudes. AI is cool. It's just, I mean, what they're saying it should do just doesn't really do anything for me. I'm just like, oh, okay. You know. So your brain and AI both run on dead dinosaurs. Yeah, right. I mean, most fossil fuels are from decaying plant matter, but you know, it's funner to say dead dinosaurs too. Yeah. Your appetite is also on the spectrum. Nice. That's terrible. All right, dudes, that's going to do it for this Space and Rocket review. I want to make sure I can get the mobile streaming setup good to go, dudes. So, I'm going to rain check after hours and then we'll be here tomorrow. And provided there's no like gigantic space news tomorrow, we're going to do, I would like to do another Kerbal grind, if that's okay. Yeah, I want to do another Kerbal grind. It's like with robotaxis, they're cool, but I'd never ride in one without pedals or a wheel. Nah. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Heck, do a test tonight. If I get it working how I want, or knock, I will. Hey, Urban, had to step away before you switched over to news. Where did you leave off with the shuttle? We tried getting that mock-up stack working, but I couldn't get it working because it's a mock-up stack, Urban. So what we're going to do tomorrow, well, I was going to do it tonight, but I'm kind of, I'll be honest, I have some other stuff that I have to do. Getting ready to drive 12 hours the day after tomorrow. And I'm not going to be able to do it tomorrow night because I need to sleep because we're going to get up early in the morning. So let me get all my chores done. I'm going to test the mobile setup, see if that works. If it does work, if I can get it working, we'll do some fun stuff. Maybe I actually might end up doing after hours tonight. We'll see. But where we left off is I have to figure out how to tow the SRB trailers. We have to make the SRB trailer. I have to make the external tank transport mechanism. So yeah, we got to make those, and yeah, and then we just gotta. Oh man, we got to design all the rigging. We have to design all the rigging for all the cranes tomorrow. That's why I want to go on a tear tomorrow. Just get it all done in one shot. And guys, what I'm going to shoot for if we don't do space news tomorrow, what I'm shooting for is a fully integrated stack and launch attempt. I don't see any reason why that's out of the realm of possibility here. There should not be any more unknown unknowns with crane rigging and stuff. We did the hardest part of integration, which is putting the shuttle on the tank. Are you going to stream the drive? Probably not. The Kerbal stream today was awesome. Yep. Yeah, I don't see why not. So the other thing that we're gonna do, Urban, is get Kerbal constructs to put the pad. Like I got to figure out how to do the spawn points with Kerbal constructs. So I'll be out here if I get all the chores that I need to do tonight. I got to pack and stuff. I got all the chores that I need to do done tonight. Yeah, we should just be open to just Kerbal it out tomorrow, which should be really fun. Yeah, Ernock, we were doing that anyway. Yeah, I don't see why we couldn't put a stack together tomorrow. And launch it. It would be launched in an unmanned capacity because we don't have the... Ooh. We don't have the crew access tower. Okay. Well, we got our work cut out for us, dudes. You can help with Kerbal Constructs, hopefully, but I think I have shopping tomorrow. All right, well, we'll figure it out. Yeah, that's what we got to do. So we're going to go on a Kerbal tear tomorrow. I want a shuttle stack integrated tomorrow. That's what we're going to do. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Once again, tomorrow's the last stream for a little while. And then we should pick up the streams on Monday for space news. Yeah, I got to get that mobile streaming setup working. That's what I really got to do right now. So I'll talk to you guys then. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night. Hope you enjoyed the Space and Rocket and AI review. Good night. Thank you.